Hello and welcome to the Daily Comic and Collectible, episode 352. Now today, the collectible of the day is the Kotobukiya, Marvel Now, Amazing Spider-Man, Japanese import, Spider-Man Artfx Plus statue. The Amazing Spider-Man is always in the middle of the action, and this fantastic Artfx Plus statue catches them in one of his most iconic poses. The heroic Peter Parker crouches low to the ground, ready to spring up at a moment's notice. Spider-Man wears his traditional red and blue costume, recreated here with intricate sculpted detail in the fabric's texture. Black webbing design, spider emblem on his chest, and the superhero's lean muscular physique, imported from Japan and sculpted by the master artist Hunasoki Abe. Amazing Spider-Man is in the Artfx Plus 1/10 scale and stands about 4 inches in height in the crouching position, and he has magnets in his feet to provide perfect stability on his included metal circular painted display base. Released in November of 2016 by Kotobukiya. Now the comic of the day is The Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 1, issue number 318. With a cover date of August 1989, with story by David Michelinie, art by Todd McFarlane, and cover by Todd McFarlane. This issue is titled, Sting Your Partner. The Scorpion's been given a new weaponized tail by Justin Hammer. Testing out his new equipment, the Scorpion easily totals a bunch of mannequins. Satisfied with the performance, the Scorpion can't wait to try his new tail out against the man responsible for him becoming the Scorpion, J. Jonah Jameson. However, Justin Hammer reminds the Scorpion that he promised to kidnap General Musgrave in exchange for the new equipment that he's been provided. Hammer intends to turn the General over to certain parties in Europe in exchange for the favorable business deals with Hammer Industries. Soon the Scorpion is on his way to carry out his mission. Hammer's assistant, Philip Barnett, asks if they can trust the Scorpion to carry out his mission. Hammer admits that he's gone a little outside of his usual dealings with supervillains, but the Scorpion appears to be more unstable than most. Justin decides to wait to see how he performs on his task before he considers taking the Scorpion on for further employment. Meanwhile, Peter and his wife Mary Jane are out apartment hunting, but have no luck. So far they haven't found anything decent, which upsets Mary Jane. However, Peter reminds her that she finally managed to land a modeling gig and sends her on her way. Peter has work to do himself and changes into Spider-Man in order to hunt for photos to sell to the Daily Bugle. Unfortunately, since J. Jonah Jameson seems disinterested in photos of Spider-Man as of late, the pictures he takes are not as dramatic as he could hope. When Peter arrives at the Daily Bugle, the photos he's taken are rejected. When he tells this to Joy Mercado, she suggests that he try to get an actual assignment, telling Peter that Lance Bannon was able to get one from Jameson, so he should ask. When Jonah comes back, Peter asks if he could get an assignment. Jameson brushes him off and returns to his office. Joy points out that Jonah has been acting strange lately, giving assignments to tabloid photographer Nick Katzenberg and locking himself in his office and watching old movies. If they could only see inside Jonah's office, they'd learn that this is not J. Jonah Jameson at all, but the chameleon in disguise. Later that evening, Mary Jane has just finished getting her makeup done when the producer of the photo shoot informs her they've decided to go with another model. When MJ's friend Sandy asks her what she's going to do after losing yet another modeling gig, MJ does what she usually does, goes dancing in a trendy nightclub. She doesn't get back to Aunt May's until 3 in the morning. When Peter asks her where she's been, she explains what she did. This leads to an argument over money, and how MJ worries about Peter when he goes out as Spider-Man. Peter pulls his wife close in an attempt to comfort her, telling her that they can't let their current troubles tear them apart. At that same moment, Harry Osborn is poking around a Soho loft that he now remembered that is his family owned, now that some of his repressed memories have returned. Opening a secret panel, To reveal the place where he had hidden his green goblin costume, he muses over his last task he needs to complete before setting his master plan into motion. The following morning, Peter Parker's on the campus of Empire State University. He learns they're going to the Brooklyn Armory to protest a ceremony awarding General Musgrave. Hearing this, Peter decides to cut class in the hopes of taking photos that J. Jonah Jameson will buy off him. Soon Peter Parker is at the armory, but seeing the security is tight, he slips away to change into Spider-Man in order to get some exclusive photos. At the same time, Mac Gargan is in a nearby van putting on a scorpion costume in order to complete his kidnapping mission. The two superhumans sneak into the facility. Spider-Man perches out of sight to take photos of Musgrove as he's being given his medal. As Spider-Man snaps his photos, he spots Joy Mercado and Lance Bannon in the front row, making his photos worthless. Suddenly, the Scorpion comes crashing in to kidnap the General. Spider-Man swoops in and knocks his foe down. He attempts to web up the Scorpion's eyes, but his costume is rigged with a special membrane that vaporizes anything that comes into contact with his mask. As Spider-Man struggles with his foe, he laments over the other photographers are able to take photos of the battle. In order to escape with his victim, the Scorpion blasts the support wall, threatening the lives of the members of the press. As Spider-Man leaps in to brace the falling debris, this allows Lance Bannon to get in close for some great shots. Overhearing how Lance will get paid a fortune for the photos, the Scorpion is furious that someone is getting paid to help his enemy, J. Jonah Jameson. This causes the Scorpion to snap, and he threatens to kill the General unless they bring him J. Jonah Jameson. What a cliffhanger! Geek fact: the Scorpion wants to get J. Jonah Jameson because he financed the experiment that turned Mac Gargan into the Scorpion back in Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 20, with a cover date of January 1965. Bonus geek fact: Peter and MJ go out apartment hunting because they were evicted from their condo at Bedford Towers. The owner had kicked them out after a failed kidnap attempt on Mary Jane, landing him in jail in Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 307, with a cover date of October 1988. Side fact: Jonathan Caesar, the owner of Bedford Towers, became obsessed with MJ after she became a famous model. In fact, he even had a secret shrine to her in his condo. Advertising ad fact: with Heroes Con just around the corner, I thought this ad for upcoming May 1989 Comic-Cons was interesting, especially the gigantic New York convention on June 17th and 18th. Biggest show of the year, and all in the Pinta Hotel. Oh, how times have changed. By the way, most of these conventions are free. And final geek fact: there are a total of 3 antagonists in this story, but the main one is the Scorpion, whose name is MacDonald Gargan. He was a former private investigator who was hired by Jameson to find out how Peter always got such good pictures of Spider-Man. Jameson paid Gargan $10,000 to be a subject in Dr. Farley Stillwell's research on animal mutations. Unfortunately, it also resulted in the loss of his sanity. Well, I'd like to thank you for joining me for another Daily Comic and Collectible, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. This is Cat Fan Comics Man, and I'll catch you on the flip. Over and out.